Okay, gentlemen, welcome to the test drive part of the video. As you can see, it's windy. It's not dogs off chains, but it's definitely kite flying weather, so it's actually a great conditions to test this boat. First thing I'm going to talk about, this is the Rolls Royce of small gentlemen's cruisers. So if you are looking for a boat that's going to pass through a wide variation of conditions and keep you comfortable and keep you dry, and just for you and your partner, this is the sort of boat you should focus on. It's going to have really good ability to go up and down the coast of Sydney, for example. It's going to have low fuel consumption compared to, put it this way, I'm imagining a lot of guys who've had sailing yachts being interested in this boat. So if you've been a yachty, if you've had an ex-yacht, if you've had a Swan, if you've had an Oyster or something like that, and if you're done with your 50 years of sailing and you're ready for something to keep you on the water, keep you protected and keep you happy, this is an excellent boat to consider because it's a size that will take you everywhere that you're used to going, and it's a size that you can manage by yourself or with a partner. So I see that as a nice little niche that this Duchy 27 is filling or suitable for. So what do we have here? A beautifully, like this boat's handcrafted from what I can see. So this is, for the Aussies watching, this is like a Palm Beach quality, is what I'm seeing. But the helm, it's on the port side. I've got the throttle just kind of at the same level, a little bit lower than the wheel here. This is the kind of boat that you would set it at a comfortable speed and relax. So I'm on the seat here, my armrest is adjustable, the seat will go forward and back, and I have a little footrest that I'm resting my feet on right now, but that will remove. So if I wanted to transition to standing, or if you're, say, doing like a bit of day boating and you find yourself more comfortable just standing for those short trips, that seems logical to do that as well. The boat itself, the hull form, classic gentleman's cruiser style, really. Cutting bow, coming back to a keel, which goes all the way to the back of the boat, shaft drive, four-bladed prop, and a rudder behind that. So there's more boat in the water as opposed to on the water than some of the planing boats that you might see me test. So when we are going through some of these waves, we're really having the more substance and hull shape to slice through them quite comfortably. The boat, it comes with one engine option, Nanny 205, 205 horsepower Nanny. This one's got a Yanmar because you can do customizations. This particular owner wanted a Yanmar, but it comes with the Nanny. So I've got the wheel here. Forward of the wheel, I have a bow thruster. That's logical on a single shaft boat. This particular boat's got a spotlight, wipers, screen wash, and I've got my anchor operation. I'll go through the rest of the systems up here in the walkthrough because I think you want to see the boat driving, so let's do that. Falmouth. I'm in England, by the way. It's quite a nice place. I haven't been to England in a while. It's I feel very welcome here. I'm actually half English. I have the passport. So it's after a month in Europe, it's nice to get back to driving on the correct side of the road again and speaking English. So I'm not going fast straight away because I don't feel like everybody is going to drive this boat fast immediately. But what I notice from that slower speed, where's my SOG? Okay. Before I got quite a bit of wind up the back of the boat right now, probably 25 knots of wind today. At the slower speed, about 3 to 4 knots, it felt like I had a little bit less directional stability, and now at 7 knots, it's kicking in. And as I bring the boat through the rev range, I noticed on the drone, she really starts to come into her own. So I'm just coming up through 2,000 revs, 8 knots. Let's get it to 10 knots. Yeah, that's quite noticeable. She wants to go in straight lines and comfortably is what I'm feeling right now. So I'm just sitting on 10.5 knots, and some people are going to be quite happy doing this sort of speed on the harbour, being social, because you're not so worried about your closing speed of other vessels and you want to talk to your mates or your guests, which are just there. So a boat like that, or like this, is perfect for that. So what I'm going to do is just bring the revs up, coming through 2,500, because it does feel like she wants to go faster. It's not a boat that you have trim tabs and all sorts of trim settings. It's just a rudder and a keel and a nice hull and a throttle. So it's pretty simple. Let me just make sure I'm okay on my navigation. Alrighty. 25 metres. Okay, gone from 3 metres to 25 metres. That's a good thing. Now I'm looking for a green marker up here and a red marker. There you go. So 2,600 revs, 13.4 knots. The boat's sitting pretty. She can go a lot faster than this. Okay. 2,800 revs. This sort of feels, bearing in mind we don't have the standard motor, this sort of feels like the boat's, I'm going to say, happy cruise speed. It feels at the moment. I haven't finished the rev range yet, so we'll just see how we go. Okay, 7 metres of water. I'm just going to go a little bit out this way. Okay, so if I go quiet, it just means I'm concentrating because I'm not in my home waters. Alrighty. So, 2,800 revs, 14 to 15 knots, really like comfortably slicing through the waves. Like, I think that's something, if you are looking for a boat to keep you and your partner comfortable, if you have people who are susceptible to seasickness, for example, or you just don't want the thing to be belting around, this is a style you'll look for. Let's bring that speed up a little bit more. 5.8 metres of water below me. Coming up to 2,900 revs. Getting 16, almost getting 16 knots. Let's get a little bit more. So I'm going through these two markers here, Julian. Yep. Fantastic. So, just approaching 3,000 revs, 16.2 knots. Let's give it some more. Now I'm in 27 metres. Geez, the depth really varies around here. Okay. She really gets along at a good clip. So this is a boat. This is a boat that if you need options, you've got them. Simple as that. Like, I'm now coming through 3,200 revs. The boat's quite comfortable. You could just, it basically just wants to go in straight lines. We are not in calm waters, as you can see. The boat is just looking after us, and I'm doing 18.8 knots, and I still have more left in the rev range. So let's actually speed it up. We'll give it wide open throttle, just one little blast. 32 metres of water. I've got waves. 21 knots, 3,500 revs. And you can actually, you know, I think I was almost oversteering it before because you can feel the boat, the hull, doing the corrections for you. So I think the correct way to steer this boat in a little bit of swell is just let the boat do it. Don't oversteer, is what I just noticed just then. And now we'll go full revs. Oh my God, she gets along for a little boat. This is awesome. This is awesome. 23, we're going to get 24 knots SOG. We are going downwind. I'm just going to slow it down in a second. I'm staying behind this ferry so I can know that I've got clear water. Okay, so 24 knots is almost more than you want to go if you're the sort of person that I think you are and you're looking at this boat, because I suspect if you are who I think you are, you're going to be happier at this sort of speed. Because did you notice there's a beautiful castle off to our left? And a lovely little English town in there. And I reckon you would be excited about doing things like this, like what we are doing right now. Okay, we don't have castles in Australia, but we've got lots of lovely towns. And this boat, with the accommodation that I've already seen downstairs, with the beautiful lounge out the back, with the sun and weather protection, you know, you can stay out of the sun in here, but if you want the air, you can slide the window open and get lots of air in. So if you're worried about all of that sailing that you've done over the years and the skin cancers that you're cutting off your nose and your ears and your face, this is the sort of boat that you focus on, because it'll keep you on the water. So I think it's about time we visit this town and give you a detailed walkthrough. So just keep watching. I'm going to edit it straight up into the same video, and we might even do some slow speed maneuvering and then demonstrate that at the very end of the video. So keep watching for that if that's of interest to you. We'll also go through the engine bay and explain the mechanical setup on this particular boat. Hope that was useful. I'm on a modern classic that is perfect for couples who know boats, who appreciate quality, and who love that modern classic style. This is the Duchy 27. So yeah, this is the walkthrough part of the video. So basically I'm just going to start at the back of the boat and make my way through. I don't know if I'm still in Falmouth. I started in Falmouth. I think I'm in another town now, but it's beautiful. And there's a castle there and everything's lovely. So welcome. But what have I learnt so far? This boat is handmade, custom quality. This is a builder that will do what you want, and this is a style of boat that you would keep for generations. This is, if you choose, you know, this is the kind of thing that if you wanted to look after it, you could hand it down to your kids and then we can move on down to the grandkids. That's the vibe I'm getting, and let's try and explain that to you. It is a traditional gentleman's cruiser, you know, picnic style of boat, but it's got a cutting bow and it's a full keel style of boat. So as I walk around, so I'm only on a 27-foot boat, but she's 3.5 ton. But do you see it moving very much? So that's going to translate to you and your mates being quite comfortable for lunch. So these things make a difference. Well, if we were on more of a flatter bottom boat that was a lot lighter and a different centre of gravity to what we're on right now, your lunch is going to fall off the table. Simple as that. So, but where do I start? The features are many. This transom, we're going to have to cut to some drone footage of this. This is, I believe it's optional, but it's beautiful timber finish. And even though we're from a country that we get beaten up by the sun, I would go for this. This is absolutely gorgeous, because I believe if you're the sort of person looking at this boat, you want that top end quality and you're going to be prepared to put the tiny little cover over it at the end of the day to protect it, because it's absolutely stunning. The swim platform is, it's a bolt-on platform which is beautifully done. So it's not part of the hull, it is extended out the back of the boat. It's all teak. It matches the colour of the hull. You can do what you like, and it is very usable. I can see this particular boat, it actually has tender davit set up, so you could do, you know, you flip up traditional tender davit. But just check this out. I want you to get this in shot, Sam. How gorgeous is this? So that completes the boat when you're underway. That gives you that traditional look. But then when you're entering the boat, you just have two switches there and there, little locks, and this just deploys, and you have this lovely teak step here. Now, we are looking at a lot of teak. You don't have to have real teak. You can have the flexi teak. So it's really up to you. And they are such a custom style of builder from what I'm learning. It really is up to you. So we've got a swim shower just here. This pulls out right here. We have a decent cleat on both sides with some protection for the lines, and I can also see protection for covers. So there's going to be a cover that goes over the whole back of the boat here when you pack it up at the end of the day. So as you enter, this is what it looks like. So just go back and make sure you get all this in shot, Sam. You step on this one teak step here. This is removable. This will give you access to the rudder, and then you step into the cockpit just here. And this is a picnic boat, so this is what you do. You kick back like so and have the best seat in the house and enjoy a nice lunch. But you've got options. If you want to do your lunch with, what are you going to do? 4 people, maybe 6. You can do that. But this beautiful piece of timber, this table, doesn't have to stay out. If you want to have it open, if you want to go watch the sailing, for example, and you're going to be moving around, this actually has its own custom holding spot down below here. So they've thought of that, put it that way. But underneath me, just immediately at the back of the boat here, as you step onto the main deck, there's a grate, and that's basically where the rainwater is going to go. So that goes into here, and then it pumps out via a bilge pump, automatically operated, obviously. Because this style of hull, she does have a lot of boat under the water, therefore it's not going to be all naturally draining out. So you do have to have bilge pumps and batteries just protecting that, and it's all done, and I'll explain that as we make our way through. But these lounges are incredibly comfortable. This is really top quality stuff. The only thing that they're not doing in-house at this factory is the upholstery and the stainless. They do everything else. And yeah, this is good stuff. Underneath this seat and this seat, we've got some storage. I mentioned we've got the holder for the table, and I saw the exhaust going out that way, and there was something else I forgot. What's under here? Let's just have a quick look. Oh, okay, so that's the raw water pickup. So that's the filter for the raw water pickup. So everything is accessible. So that's there, and then we get into the middle of the boat. There is a teak, rectangular teak square just here, or rectangle, what am I saying, square. This removes, is what I'm trying to tell you. That gives you access to the shaft exit, because if you just do this, let me just put some pressure on that. Oh. Gas strut, sound insulated, there's your engine. Straight shaft drive, beautifully done. Now it is a Nanny 205. This particular owner decided to go for the Yanmar, so just don't pay too much attention to that. But obviously, being this style of boat, the engine box is also, it is a beautiful lounging area. So underway, this boat will do over 20 knots. You're going to be on this seat, you're going to be quite protected. On these seats, you are going to be in the wind. But if you want some sun protection, they will do some carbon fibre poles there and there, and an extendable sunshade, which I'm told you can leave up in 20 knots. So it can be set up with this whole area in protection from the sun. And they have done that for a customer in New Zealand. So if it works in New Zealand, it'll work in Australia. So moving forward, you obviously have this backrest in the middle, and this is just the one cushion, and this is over the whole engine bay. So this then gives you options, for 4 people going out for the day. 2 people could sit here if they wanted protection from the wind, and another 2 people could sit here. Got little cupboards here, and these teak steps actually give you access to the side decks, which we're going to go to in a second. I just need to explain a few more bits and pieces. So Sam, why don't you come over here and look back so everyone can appreciate this. And I said this in the test drive, I really do believe the guys and girls who are going to be really attracted to this boat are probably coming out of sailing. You've done a lot of sailing, whether it's racing sailing or cruising sailing, and at that stage of life where you've had enough sailing and you want a beautiful boat, a boat that's going to last, a boat that's not going to use too much fuel, and it's going to look elegant. This boat does all of that, and it's going to be reliable because it's just tried methods is what they're using on this boat. So speaker, courtesy light, stairs going up to either side, grab handles to reach either side, and remember the inherent stability of this hull, meaning it's not going to rock around awkwardly when you are going forward. We have our gas locker just here for cooking, and then we have a fridge on starboard just here. These seats will swivel around to face the other side, so we do have these levers here and on the other side, and we can turn them around to face aft, so when you're in lunch mode, that's doable. And everyone from here forward has wind and sun protection. So I'm just going to start on the starboard side and make my way around. I've got an opening roof hatch just here, so that's going to be great for letting a little bit of air in. I'm sure they can do them with sun blockouts as well, but we're here in England, so it's not really a necessity. And this slides like so, and that's going to be great for saying hello to your mates when you're cruising past in your beautiful boat and pulling up at your mate's house and just waving goodbye. But yeah, also good for ventilation. So we've got a couple of downlights here and a couple more downlights here and here, so that's all very practical. And then I can see the windscreen wiper motors there, and the VHF there. The finish, just everywhere you look, even everywhere you touch, it's just at another level. Like I touch a lot of boats. Does that sound weird? But I do. And this, yeah, everywhere that I'm looking, it's just to another level. You open cupboards, you look underneath things, you're like, oh, they've gone to the extra, they've paid the extra little bit of attention, which many other builders would not, because they go, oh, it's out of sight, out of mind. I'm not seeing that here. So, both of these forward-facing seats have got footrests. The footrests are in the form of these removable stainless steel, essentially bars. So you can just pull them straight up and then use it as a normal stand-up position if you're underway. And you might do that. If you're in a real rough seat, it might be more comfortable to stand like so. Or if you wanted to sit, you can put your foot like I am just there. And then that just gives you a nice, comfortable place to sit. I've got a beautiful arm rest just here in teak. It's all rounded. That's really, really nicely done. I would be very happy on a long journey just sitting here as a navigator. That would be great. So that's cool. And then let's get around to the helm. So I'm just going to sit down. So those two doors there and there, they are basically access to the holding tank, and then they've got access to some electrical systems behind this one and this one. So they're not really storage. Those ones back there are storage. But at the helm, once again, you have this lovely armrest. You've got your throttle just here, and it's the kind of boat, it's because it's got great inherent stability, because it tracks very well and it goes in straight lines through nasty chop incredibly well. You kind of just set it on a speed and relax and just steer the boat and enjoy the ride. It's not the sort of boat where you've probably seen on many of my videos where I'm trimming and doing things all the time and I'm very active. Sure, you can be if you want to, but this is the kind of style of hull that's just gonna eat up the chop at its 15 knots or at its 20 knots, and you can just sit here and communicate with your mates. So let's focus in on this helm. But just before we do, I mean, look at this teak around the helm, and look at this handle. Look how nice that is. And even this one here, it's really well done. It's incredibly well done. So the timber wheel, stainless inserts with the Duchy logo just there. And then starting up here, we've got our spotlights. I've got a bow thruster. I've got the wiper operation. I like having the wipers individually operated. See how you can go slow and fast and off in the middle. Then you can wash the screen with these, and then this is the anchor windlass up and down. Because you will, in a rough, you're going to go offshore in a boat like this, so you will cop water over the bow. And so it just gives you that immediate ability to clear your visibility, so it's nice. That's for phone charging. We've got our flat screen SIM-RAD here. I'm sure you can do all sorts of electronics, and that'll just do all your usual stuff. And this is all, look at this stainless surround here. Isn't that pretty? Ignore the Yanmar because it's nanny, but that's our revs, that's our temperature, this is our tank level, that's our volts, and then we've got alarm, windlass, bow thruster, heater, wipers, horn, AIS, nav, autopilot, audio, shower pump, low bilge, high bilge. So when we say low bilge and high bilge, there is a low bilge right in the bottom of the keel. So if you blew a hose and you started, pissing water into the actual bilge, that's going to set off an alarm. So that's kind of handy to know. The high bilge, it's just for the rainwater. So if you forgot to put the cover on and you had a big rainstorm and water is building up in that grate that I mentioned before, that's going to get pumped out from the high bilge. So that's what we're talking about there. Freshwater pump, that's just pressurizing your freshwater light panel, navigation lights, and the all-round white light. That's the last four up here. And I'd say these lights here are probably indicators of various safety items, which I don't exactly know. Compass just up here, mentioned the VHF up there, and we have another opening hatch just here. So that's going to be really comfortable. You know, a hot day. This is going to be a lovely place to be. So let's go up to the bow. So just stay there and get this in shot. Your way to move forward, because many of you are going to be thinking about this because you're going to be worried about your partner. First things first, if you want to pick up a mooring, you could actually just do it from the midships on this style, but it's going to track in pretty straight. You can just use the bow thruster and pick up the mooring and then just walk it forward if you're worried about sending people forward. But you shouldn't be worried about sending people forward, because the way to do it, you've got a step here, you got a handle here, you have another handle here, and then you choose if you want to get up on the next step and just throw this leg over and step on that. And now I'm a man with very short legs, so if I can do it, your wife can too. Or you do it and your wife can drive, so because that's how we should do things too. But when you get up here, you got this grab handle here, it's wrapping all the way around. So follow me, Sam, and see how this midships cleat folds down. So that's then reducing any trip hazard moving forward to the bow. So you're going from here, sliding your hand, and then when you get to here, you've got quite a big bow rail, which you could also slide your bum along if you were worried, but you've got something to hold on to all the way up to here. And then if it was a rough day, you've got plenty of options as you make forward. So I see this as a really safe, you know, if you're an older couple, this is a very safe boat to be using. If you're not so sure on your feet, you're not going to have any problems. But just look at all this. How beautiful is, you know, the stainless gear up here, the lovely little anchor. We've got the quick anchor windlass, got our bollard just there for the mooring. We can operate the anchor from here, probably do a spare anchor on those teak pads there. We've got some nice fair leads for the mooring lines. There is a sun cushion which will go up on the front here. Summer's over. I was hoping to get the crazy English summer. I heard it was like belting hot this year, and I thought, yes, I'm going to be in France, I'm coming to England, I'm going to get hot temperatures, but it kind of feels like winter already. But anyway, I tried. But this hatch opens the other way, so I'm sure you're still going to get some airflow down, but it's not going to suck air down as opposed to a forward-facing hatch. Whether they can change that for you, I don't know. That's a question you'd have to ask. We can see these two other ventilators just here, and then I see an opening side windows here and here, and I'll just check on the other side. I see two matching on this side as well. So the windscreens, they're not opening, they're toughened glass. But this particular boat has got some solar panels running down the middle of the roof. That's very logical. I think a lot of people would want to do that. We've got the spotlight, so that was operated by the joystick at the helm. We've got proper air horns. You can see the top of the opening sunroofs, but notice how the radar or the there's no radar on it at the moment. The mast, I should say, it's in timber. You can have it in stainless, is what I was trying to say. Now, I also want to point out we've got the teak on the foredeck here. You don't have to have real teak, can do the flexi teak, and you could probably do or choose to do it without teak if you wanted. Confirm that, I'm not 100% sure. So coming down the starboard side, we've got the pump out. You can see this cleat in the up position, so that's how you fold it down if you want to be safe. We've got the diesel in just there, and I can see some breathers as well. But come on down, I think I've covered everything there. So if you're packing up this boat at the end of the day, you're just going to attach a cover to this bolt rope track here, and then the whole cover is just going to go over here, and then you'll just have attachment. So it's really quite simple because that angle is quite nice for water running off. So don't see this as a complicated boat to pack up at the end of the day. Before I get there, I can't miss the little toolbox. Is that not the most gorgeous thing you've ever seen? Look at that. So if that doesn't give you an idea of what we're about to see downstairs, I don't know what will. So come on down, let's check out this interior. So first thing that's worth pointing out, They've got a really good latching system, so this is not going to come undone in a big sea and hit your feet, simple as that. So it's quite safe. You come down basically one step. You just step over this. That's going to stop any water from entering the main cabin. Then down onto one timber step, which lifts up, and it's got a little esky. Basically, it looks like a little pull-out esky to me, which then gives you also access into the deep bilge. But just come on down into this beautiful interior. This is what handmade quality looks like, guys. So basically, this is a bit of a lounging area right now, but it will convert into a nice, comfortable bed. Are you going to sleep on it? Probably not. You've probably got a nice waterfront house, and your mate does too, and he's got a big boat. But I mean, for the occasional time that you are rafted up or at your mate's, or next to his big boat, or at your friend's house, or if you've got guests coming to your place and you've run out of spare bedrooms, and this is at the end of the garden, like, what a beautiful place to invite guests to come down and have a night or two when they're at your house. But if you are going to be doing the overnighting thing, basically there's an infill that sits in here. These backrests go down on either side, and because they're half thickness, they double up. And so that's what gets you the full mattress thickness. Just come forward, Sam. You've got to have a look. That's just the toilet door rattling as the ferry goes by. That is the tidiest anchor well I have ever seen. It's great. So, and that's accessible through this little door, but it's all nicely flow coated on the inside, incredibly well done with this cute little door. As you come up, all the lining, it's basically leather wrapped, beautifully done. I've got these timber strips down the center line of the boat here, and same here, that's giving you a nice sort of accents. I'm sure they could do sunshades for Australia here, but that's the hatch that we saw up on deck, and these are the opening windows here and here. But once again, look at the detail. Look at the detail just here. The beautiful custom little housing and a grate in there for some ventilation to keep the air flowing through the boat. So why don't you come over here, Sam, and then look back at this galley. So look at this. How good's that? And notice how they finish it. They haven't just, like, essentially, that is never going to fall apart. If you do it like that, you notch it in like that, it's solid as. Take your cutlery drawer to the beach for your picnic. Like, isn't that cute? I think it's great. So what do we have here? We've got, alrighty, we have all the storage for our plates and bowls and cutlery in their own little neat holders, timber lined. How good's that? So it's really true to its picnic boat theme, so to speak. So we can do all of our coffee cups or whatever you like up here. You can do your bowls, you can do your plates in here. And then we have storage in here. And then we have a jacket hanging just in here. So we've got all of our coats can go in here. We have our stereo and our light operation. This particular boat has got a heater. If you do live in a cold climate, having used these heaters now, these little Webasto diesel jobbies, they are great to blow some hot air on your feet. If you're down in Tasmania, this boat would be awesome. East coast of Tasmania, imagine the adventures you could have, and you would essentially extend the season. If you don't like the cold feet situation, get one of them. Having tried it in New Zealand myself, I'm now a convert. But I'm going to get in the toilet, just give you a sense of the space. So it's not huge, but it's doable. It's a sit-down toilet. You have, your storage here for your toiletries bags. You've got a proper sink. You can actually pull this out and use it as a shower. And then you've got more storage just down there. Electric operation, and it will vent quite nicely. So it's everything you need, and it's just beautifully done. I'll get out of there so Sam can actually appreciate that and show you guys. And of course, there's storage underneath the seats / bed as well. And in the cabin itself, you don't have standing room. You're not supposed to, because then that would ruin the lines of this boat from the outside. So it is a bit of a crouch situation, but lots of sitting room is the key. So if you wanted to move the situation or the party or whatever's going on down here because it was warmer or whatever, you can do that. But like I said, you're probably just going to lend this as an overnight bedroom for your guests, I think that's where it's going to get the most use. All right, guys, so I told you I'd talk about the slow speed maneuverability of the boat. Boats like this will typically have a bit of prop warp, so you've got a big propeller turning left or right, and when you put it in reverse, it'll often pull the boat one way or the other. So that's just something you want to pay attention to or be aware or alert. And also, you're going to have essentially a little bit of resistance from the keel. So it'll track in a straight line, and then if you unlike a flat bottom boat, it's not going to slide sideways as easily compared to something that's perhaps planing. So I'm just giving a little bit of a reverse now. I'm just seeing. Okay, so this boat appears to just drive straight. So this doesn't have much prop warp. So I'm going to say that is actually, for the average yachty, it's going to be a little bit easier. So normally you're going to be factoring in your prop warp, and you go, right, when I reverse, the boat pulls left or the boat pulls right, and you have to think ahead and to allow for that difference when you're pulling into the dock. But if this thing, let's just do it again. So I'm just going to give a little bit of revs in reverse. I've got my rudder centered. And now I'm going to put my rudder to starboard. Now I'm going to put my rudder to port. Yes, it just slowly responds with a little bit of water over the rudder. Okay, I'm just going to click it in forward. This is quite predictable, guys. So with a little bit of training or just regular use, you'll get used to this. So let's just try the bow thruster and see how that is. Often, again, I've had this on Grand Banks and other heavier displacement boats where there's more boat in the water as opposed to on it. You have a bit of resistance with the bow thruster. So I'm just going to stop the boat. I'm just going to bow thrust to port, and yeah, pretty good. So not the most powerful because the boat is providing some resistance due to the hull shape, but that's going to get you essentially where you want to go, because remember, it's not going to get overtaken by the conditions as quickly as a lighter, flatter boat, so it's going to be more predictable. Moving into the dock or the marina, you're going to just move and track slowly and predictably at slow speeds. Then you're going to line the boat up for your berth, look over your shoulder, stick it in reverse, and she's going to go where you want to point it. So it'll go where you are pointing it, I should say. So that's actually quite easy. So once again, my original thoughts, couples boat, I agree. It is a couples boat. Guys, that was a lot of fun. Who buys this boat? I really do believe it's the couples who know boats, couples who are experienced with boats, couples who want to enjoy all weather conditions or have the ability to enjoy all weather conditions, and people who love this modern classic look. This style will never go out of fashion. I was just listening, actually, Julian, the local sales guy, he doesn't even need to try and sell these secondhand. He always has a wait list. And I do believe that. That's the same that we see back in Australia with the Palm Beaches. I see this boat being in that category. It's something that's just always going to have demand. So, yeah, if you are that person, if you want to stay on the water, if you want to enjoy fun adventures and just also enjoy being on a beautiful boat, check out the Duchy. Check out this 27. This will keep you happy. If it's just you and small groups on a beautiful piece of machinery, you'll be happy. My name's Dan Jones. This has been Dan's Boat Life. If you like this content that I make it for you. I don't take money for the videos. I'm completely independent. Get on to support me. Give us a like. Share the videos. Get onto my Patreon. I'd appreciate it. Thanks very much.